with us right now. If he's any good, maybe I'll give him a chance to stay here next year. The next day, I went to the dry cleaners. My mom said it would be best if I started working at the front counter. She said that men usually brought their business suits, and women brought their evening dresses. All I had to do was take their clothes. It was an easy gig, but the downside was that I had to work next to my stepdad. He was sitting at the register and taking the money. I started going to work after school. After working with my stepdad for a while, I came to understand how deep his money worship went. Whenever a wealthy-looking man brought in a business suit, he would get a twinkle in his eye. After the customer would leave, he'd say, "Check the pockets. Let's see if he's left anything in there." Some people did indeed leave money in their pockets, and my stepdad would be as happy as a kid. "Easy money. I love it," he would say. As he put the money in the register, to defend himself, he'd say, "If you saw money on the street, would you pick it up or keep walking? Of course you would take it. This is no different." If the person who brought in a suit was middle class, he'd look down on them and say, "These losers either have dirty tissues or lottery tickets in their pockets. They spend their lives dreaming." Unfortunately, he'd be right. We would never find any money in their pockets. Once we found a Powerball ticket in a jacket. I was annoyed that my stepdad was right again. In the other pocket, there was a piece of paper. When I opened it, I saw that it was a hospital bill. It was for a lot of money. I remembered the guy who dropped off the suit. It was obvious that he didn't have a lot of money. I felt sad for him and thought maybe the lottery ticket was his last hope. The next day, when the guy showed up to take his suit back, I said to him, "I found these in your pocket," and gave him back the lottery ticket and hospital bill. "My daughter is in the hospital. I wore that jacket the last time to visit her. I was really distracted that day. I forgot to check my pockets," he said. "No problem. I hope your daughter feels better soon," I replied. My stepdad overheard the conversation. That night at home, he said to my mom, "This kid is really naive. I tell him anything that comes out of those pockets is ours. He's still going around giving customers back the things we find." When my mom said, "Matt did the right thing," my stepdad got mad. "In that case, when the time comes, you will also leave this house along with your son. I regret spending my money on both of you," he said. My mom got really upset. She started crying. I couldn't sleep that night. I didn't have to put up with my stepdad. I promised myself I'd leave home the first chance I got and take my mom with me. A week passed. I came to the dry cleaners after school, as always. When I walked in, my stepdad said, "This gentleman has been waiting for you for a while. He says he has a present for you." It was the customer with the daughter in the hospital. He said with a smile, "Well, young man, I'm about to give you a present, and you certainly deserve it. Would you please come outside with me?" My stepdad was trying to understand what was going on. He followed us outside. The man made a phone call. Shortly after, one of those armored vehicles used by banks to transfer money